Welcome to Teed Off, brought to you by Pure AV. At their awesome facility here today, able to record this show to help you guys play better golf. We're going to help some real golfers play better, and I'm Joe Meglin. Let's get started. I've been a golf professional for about 15 years and been teaching golf full-time for about 12 of that time. And a big reason why I am the way I am is I just got sick and tired of watching all these bad golf swings, right? So essentially, being me, teaching golf for that long, it burns you out. So if you're just not honest with people, then what's the point?
My name's Kevin Stachowski. I am a 7 handicap out of Lakewood Country Club. Been working with Joe for the better part of 10 years. Currently, my low round is a 74.
All right, Kevin, so welcome today. We've only been working on this move in your golf swing for about how long?
5 years.
I'd say it's closer to 10 at this point.
Sounds about right.
But that's okay, right? We're gonna attack it again and have a positive attitude and hope today's the day, right?
Appreciate the encouragement.
Not much. So what Kevin does in his golf swing is what I see what a lot of golfers do is he tends to sway at the top of the swing, or what I call late sway. So I like a little bit of sway early and then starting to move the hips back to the left. We call that recentering, where we're trying to move right early and recenter the pelvis. Kevin has a hard time doing that, and it causes a lot of issues with his arm structure at the top. So we usually either pick to work on his sway or his arm structure. Today, because I see this problem so much with so many players, we're gonna try to get Kevin to stop swaying to the right so much at the top of the swing. His rehearsals, like most golfers, looks pretty good. When he tries to do it on the golf swing, it looks fucking awful.
During our iron lesson today, Joe's trying to get me to recenter myself better at the top of the swing. I still haven't quite figured out mentally what he wants from me, but I try to humor him in the process.
So let's just do some rehearsal swings to start with, right? I know that these look pretty good, and let's try, move back this way a little bit, and let's try not to, again, I don't want you to like overdo it this way, right? I want you to try to get that little bump to the right and then kick it back to the left like we've been doing. Yeah, that's not bad. More continuous though, if you can. Yeah, there you go. Really good. Do that again. Definitely better. All right, so like, do that, okay? Just like that. Like,
simple enough.
Don't add any speed. I don't care how far it fucking goes right now. I just want to see if we can get that hip in the right spot that we've been trying to move it in for between 5 and 10 years. I don't know if admitting that we've been working on the same move for 10 years is a poor example of my instruction, or
it's either an indictment on me or you.
I would say a lack of talent on your part, right? I mean, you've gotten better though, essentially, right?
I've sucked less.
That's a good way to look at it. I mean, you don't suck that much. You just don't listen to me very well in most instances, where you go out on your ventures through YouTube channels and keep sending me fucking videos of other instructors teaching golf, right? Imagine going to a doctor, right? And then after that doctor's visit, being like, hey, I saw this video on YouTube. What do you think about this?
I believe they call that a second opinion.
Kevin's been a student for a while, and I do razz him a lot, but he's made a lot of improvements. But we've honestly been working on the same things for a long time. That's not uncommon with golfers, but what really pisses me off about Kevin is he sends me YouTube videos all the fucking time. And almost always they have nothing to do with anything that we're working on. I would at least like him to send me videos of stuff that we're applying, as opposed to some random video from some guy about the follow through, right? Like, it's just annoying. So not your spine moving to the left like this, it's just the pelvis moving forward. Oh, that was not it.
Ooh.
Again, like, we'll keep working on it, right? But like every time right now, arms are way better. We've been working on that for a while. So the arm structure is definitely a lot better. That's why you don't hit that shot as often, but that right hip, maybe we need to go see Dave, my PT, right? Like, he might be the guy to get that worked out and get you moving the right way. Too many squats, right?
Something like that.
Yeah, let's see it again. Okay. So we've been working on the same thing for a while, and it's what he needs to do to start playing better golf. But he's improved a lot, and I just wish Kevin would stop being so obsessed with how far he hits the golf ball. He's got like a huge chip on his shoulder that way, but I get it. Like, it's super embarrassing to be out there carrying it 215 when your buddies are hitting it 40, 50 yards by you. But honestly, just swallow your pride and hit the fucking fairway. So that was, again, not it. But
Didn't feel it.
like you're just trying to do this, right? And like I need that to stay bent early and then extend later. You do it in the exact fucking opposite way, where you extend it super early and then flex it as you get to the top. That's why your pelvis moves, your hips move so far to the right in the backswing. So like I see this with a lot of players who don't understand how they're supposed to move the hips in the golf swing. They try to either overdo the extension early of that right leg or straightening that right leg early. And then as they get to the top, because they're overextending that right leg, the pelvis moves too far to the right this way, right? And they end up looking like this, where they're tilted towards the target, and inevitably just this ugly over the top downswing. So we need to feel a little bit of shift to the right very early. Rory McIlroy just won the Masters, and he's the best at this, where he starts his golf swing by pushing off his left leg into his right leg. So he's pushing to start and then moving his hip back towards the target. It's a really hard move to do. That's why it's taken Dave a long time. Doesn't take everybody that long, but some players it does, right? So let's see it again.
Okay.
Good. I mean, it's getting there, right? Like, keep using the plate, right? I think are we doing rope swings too?
Yep.
Yeah. So keep doing all those tempo drills are very helpful for that, right? And anything else that we should work on today?
Well, we always want to work on driver speed, right?
We do not always want to work on driver speed. Kevin always wants to work on driver speed.
Also true.
I think that you hit the ball plenty fucking far enough, but every time you show up, and again, what happens when you go faster too, right? You just fuck this move up more, right? Like we got you going in a good spot, and you're like, can I hit it faster? And it's like, yeah, we can go faster, but we're just gonna mess it up. I mean, if you can do this move correctly, that would probably help you hit the golf ball further too. So like maybe you should work on that.
Well, we work on it with the driver.
I'm gonna break this thing one day. Always, always, always this fucking guy wants to work on his driver, right? There's like, honestly, I'm surprised I haven't broken it at this point. But again, the drills we're doing are helping him swing faster. And I will admit, like, working on speed is helpful, but he's just so obsessed with it. It's fucking, I've had enough at this point. I honestly, like, some days when I'm in there, I just want to take this thing and just like right over my knee and just hand it back to you and be like, now hit this fucking thing.
That's fair.
Right? Yeah, let's see the driver. Let's see you fucking hit this thing everywhere. You got enough room there?
Yeah, I'm sure we'll be all right.
Why don't we do a rehearsal swing first?
Okay.
Yeah, that's not bad. Can you get your chest more right as you do it though? Yeah, that's it. Good.
Okay.
So move right early, right?
Yep.
Actually, so the way you want you to work on the driver for speed, let's do the trigger drill. That's
Okay.
actually helpful for this. Yeah. And when you do the trigger drill, I want you to feel like you're pushing off your left into your right, and then pushing off your right into your left.
Perfect.
Yeah, I mean, still this way, but try it again.
Okay.
Good. I can't do that with a driver, but let me hop in here for a second. So a trigger drill is a good way for players to understand how to shift correctly in the golf swing. So what we want to do is swing the club forward slightly. As the club's moving forward, I'm starting to move back. Now I'm exaggerating this so you can see it, but that's the feel I'm trying to create to start getting that move happening. And before my arms get to the top of the backswing, I need to feel like I'm moving back into my lead side. It's a really hard move to do, but it's kind of a magic move. If you get that, you know, all you over the top hackers where the shaft is moving this way, that's essentially what that's gonna fix. So if I can bump to the right early, right? And then kind of kick into my left, now the club's already kind of moving in the right direction on the way down by shifting in the right direction instead of that late sway garbage where we get up here, Kevin, right? Into the right side and then steepening the shaft excessively, trying to create speed from the top. We've got to sequence that move correctly in order for the club to shallow properly. Yeah, perfect. Play that. It's actually not that bad. It's probably not as far as you want because we're going to hear you start whining about how short it goes.
I will.
Yeah, 218 carry.
That's not it. That's not it, Joe.
I know when we go faster, obviously, as you know, when we train speeds, I carry it a little further. We're obviously not going to hit it as straight.
Yep.
But as you get better at going faster, then your 95% speed swing will be more accurate than where you're at 100%. But that was pretty good.
Okay.
Let's see where we're at. Yeah, 104. Good. That should make you happy. I don't think you've hit that number in a while, right?
We're getting there.
Okay.
As it relates to the driver swing, we all want more speed. We all want more distance. I'm no different, and sometimes I let my ego get in the way. But he's got me trying to whip the club back in a better position to be able to create more speed on the way down.
So let's get some energy in the shaft early. Do that again. Good. I mean, if you want to see it go further, it would help at the center of the face too.
I didn't realize my driver had a center of the face.
That's probably part of the reason why I don't want you to hit driver. So let me explain why that's terrible, right? So we can see all these lovely T marks all over the club face here, right? That's why you suck with your driver, because the driver is, number one, 45.5 inches long, so it's difficult at the center, and then you don't do it very well either, and nor do most people who play this game. And so when we hit it off center, it adds curve and spin to the golf ball, which makes the ball go more offline. So toe shots tend to hook too much, heel shots tend to slice too much. And so that's one of the reasons this club is so hard to hit. Now, again, as we add speed, we can then swing smooth around the golf course to do this a little bit easier, but objectively, we've got to get better at hitting the center of the face to play golf better. His wedge game was fucking awful, like 2 years ago. We went on the golf course for a playing lesson, and he couldn't hit a green from 100 yards, right? And he wants to work on his fucking driver. Honestly, like, to golfers out there, right? Like, when your pro tells you to work on your wedge in short game, listen to them. They know what they're talking about, right? You can hit it 280 in the fairway, but if you fucking fat it, who gives a shit? With wedge shots, right? What is the main thing that we want to work on in wedge shots typically?
Distance control.
And how do we control the distance?
Sliding.
Perfect, right? So I hate when I see wedge shots hit super high on my sim. So, right, when I hear that noise, I want to throw up. Because it just means that you're not very good with your wedges, because you're adding loft coming in. And like, what I see from players when they do that is they stand there from 100 yards and they swing as hard as they can at a wedge and it comes up short. And instead of like taking one more club and swinging smoother, they just keep pulling wedge out and coming up short all the time. It's literally the most fucking annoying thing that players do on a regular basis. And that's Kevin at times, right? Now he's much better. We've worked on flighting his wedges. And what we want to do to flight the wedges is we need to get a little bit more into our lead foot with a little bit more shaft lean. And I'll have some players, even in their backswing, feel like they're staying on their left side, or even feeling like they move the center of their swing or the center of their chest more forward relative to the golf ball in the backswing to help get the hands more forward and lean the shaft. The other thing you'd want to do is shorten the backswing. There's kind of a law of diminishing return when we're hitting wedges. As the arms get too far back in the backswing and we're bending our elbows too much, coming at the top, trying to create more speed, it actually reduces the amount of speed that we can create or transfer in the ball because we come into impact this way. Super important to create more shaft lean with wedges and get your weight into your front foot. So what I have Kevin do when we warm up is typically hit these little half swing wedge shots where if it hits the ceiling, he owes me some push-ups. Help that chest, right? Yeah, perfect. A little shot with the face, but that should be a good flight. If you have a chance to go on a simulator, when you're hitting your wedges, so 52, let's say 54, 56, 58, 60, those wedges should all be launching below 30 degrees. If you can't get it to launch below 30 degrees, you're adding too much lofted impact, or you're not hitting down on the wedge enough. So that would be a number 31 that we're looking for. So we're at 31. Let's try that again.
Okay.
Golf ball will impact that too. So I just went and got a Pro V. So if you're playing with shitty golf balls, they're gonna launch too high typically. Or just hard golf balls, they don't have to necessarily be shitty. So he got that one to 27. What it is the harder cover on the golf ball can't grab on the face. So if you're worried about stopping your wedges more and you wanna get the ball to spin more, first off, check the age of your wedges. If the wedges are too old, they're not going to spin. The grooves wear out over time. Next, check your golf ball. You need a softer cover golf ball, not a soft golf ball. So they call a lot of golf balls soft, but you're actually looking for what's called a urethane cover or a softer cover on the golf ball. And then from there, if you can't hit it low, you probably suck, but you can get better if you just learn how to lean the shaft a little bit more into impact, right? You're super flippy, you're trying to hit your wedges too hard. let's just create a little bit more shaft lean like we're working on with Kevin. Let's try this with the Pro V here. Yeah, there you go. That's a 52 in his hand. If you get more specific with the launches, I typically like to see like a gap wedge launching like 22 to 25, a sand wedge launching like 25 to 28, and a lob wedge, yeah, so 27, good. A lob wedge can launch, you know, in that, well, closer to 30, right? If it might be a little harder if you have a 60 to launch it below 30, so if you can launch that at like 31, 32, and if you're, a lot of people now are going on simulators, so they have this information. You should be able to see that in almost any sim that you go on, regardless of the technology that you're using, to be able to see the launch of the shot. And it's super helpful to hit your wedges lower. The old line is amateurs hit their short irons high and their long irons low, and pro golfers hit their short irons low and their long irons high. Let's see that again. Yeah, there you go. I know you've pulled that,
Yep.
but just when you're trying to hit it low, you don't need to slam the face shut. You just need to feel like you're moving more forward, hitting more down on it, right? Just practice hitting the ground more in front of it as you shift forward. Yeah. So more down when you're hitting on it. So feel like you're moving your center a little bit more forward and the club's delivering a little bit more downward angle.
Perfect.
Still pretty good at 28 though. Those would be good wedge shots on the golf course, and it's keeping your spin rate pretty high too. Awesome. And like, you know, that's really good right there. Your sway that we talk about. So like this move where we want you bumping to the right and then moving back to the left. If you're trying to hit these lower flighted wedges, that would be a time where you probably don't want to bump to the right as much. So you can just kind of hang out on that left side, you know, move the hips, move the pelvis more toward the target. So you're more here at the top to kind of lean the shaft forward
absolutely.
and hit the ball lower. Sound good?
Perfect.
Awesome, man.
Love
Good
it, Joe.
stuff.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Today's lesson, I do feel like we made some progress. Now, Joe and I are very direct with one another, so he'll tell me that I didn't, but I try to be optimistic. I'd probably give myself a C today because I'm never as satisfied as I probably should be, but there's always room for improvement. So at this point, moving forward, I'm going to continue to work on the lessons that Joe's giving me, both on the range and on the course. I might have to come start seeing him twice a week, although I'm sure he's probably not a fan of that.
So I guess now I have to tell people who Kevin is instead of calling him the Lakewood member that I teach. And I would grade the lesson, you know, somewhere around a B+ in this case. He did really well with the moves that we want to do. He actually gained more speed than I've seen him gain. So I don't know what's going on a Thursday at 8 o'clock where he's got a little bit more club head speed, but whatever that is, we should keep doing it.